So don't just play a phrase in the first and best way that leaps to mind. Try out many different ways to play the notes. Fun, aggressive, smooth, persistent, or maybe even cool. Keep on doing this until you find a version that you like. For example, if I'm doing the first part of the plow concerto, maybe I'll do it more hesitant. Or maybe I'm going to practice the first interval to smooth out the legato by maybe using the vowels a little slower. Or maybe
there's always intensity implied with chromaticism, right? Do that. That's where it's like there's a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde that I'm trying to encourage you to use in this. That crescendo shows like, but I'm still the hero. And then you jump right back into that more chromaticism with crescendo, dee da dum. And then the end, this B flat, it's all on, right?
Yes, I feel that they do 100%. Now, everyone has their own routines and things that help them feel their best. And I think most importantly, whether it's the body maintenance routine that I have given everybody, which I think would be a great place to start, it's really worth experimenting with a few things to find out what works best for you playing. And you will find a balance, I think, because for me, there's some stuff that's too strenuous, for example, before a concert versus before a rehearsal, or before a really intense concert versus a concert that I'm not so worried about. So you really have to find a balance of intensity or what you're going for with your fitness side and your body, and balance that with your playing. That said, I think.
Thanks, Mark. That's an awesome question. So it's huge. If you were in an orchestra or something like that, you might be able to get away with just being a classical musician. And obviously, orchestral players are the best at what they do with classical stuff, and all the respect in the world to them. But in a military band, and especially for like field bands and line bands, but even here in DC, versatility is super important.
You know the game of if you were on a deserted island and could only have one item, what would it be? If I could only have one musical exercise that I could practice for the rest of my career, it would be lip slurs. Lip slurs pack so many useful elements into a single package. Elements that you can work on with lip slurs include tone, flexibility, smooth transitions between notes, breath control, dynamics, range, long tones, and pitch. In this video, I'm just going to use some very basic slurs to talk about some of these elements that I just listed. However, I will also show you some ways that you can alter these simple slurs.
Jump into the first question, right? The first question is, how do you maintain your wide range of style? Are there weekly, monthly rituals that you do to check in with your style? That's a great question. Okay. Today I am playing new music. 2 weeks ago I was playing something. I was playing some chamber music in a church, which was nice, but this is completely different. And so my mindset is a little bit different in the rules of engagement, but the template is all there. So if you remember in my class, I talked about the ice block analogy, right? The ice block is all the time. It is something that is a base level. I start from boom, and depending on what needs to happen, I can maneuver and chisel away from that. So when I'm warming up and when I'm playing different styles, I will take that same ice block analogy and modify what I'm playing at the time, so that Here's an
Especially
example.
in my job, there's no in the ceremonial band, there's no set principal players or first players for anything. We all kind of do a little bit of everything. So it's really important that everybody is capable of playing those first parts in a way that allows the rest of the section and really the whole band to rally around them. So be that great principal player. It's great pitch, consistent, confident style the whole way through.
What we're going to do from this pose is some switches. I find that this exercise is amazing after a long ride in the car or even sitting for a while. So, what I'm going to do is lead with my rear leg and lift the knee up. Then I'll be open in the middle and reverse the position to the other side. Now I'm going to go back to my original starting side, leading with my rear knee, opening in the center, and then switching back.
When you're commissioning, do you discuss how fundamentals work on the euphonium, or do you just let them write? Okay, so this is a great question, and it is very interesting because I've worked with a lot of different composers in a variety of different pieces, and sometimes I just let them run with it. Duncan Macmillan, he wrote an amazing piece called the Gaelic Sonata. It's like a 23-minute major work based on Scottish and Irish tunes. And it's programmatic. It's actually the story of my life with the three movements. If you've never heard it, it's amazing. And the whole end technical sections are in D major, which is not great for euphonium, but it's awesome if you can play high Ds. And I just let him write. And it was a great adventure, and I think it's a fantastic piece of work. With Alan,
You spend listening to music. This is one that I would definitely say has changed for me over the years, and I think I may be kind of different. I don't think that I'm going to speak for everybody. When I was a student, I listened to solo and chamber and orchestral music just constantly, and it was important for me to hear that. And it needs to be in your head. And I can certainly say that many students, at least the ones that I encounter, they don't listen to enough because they don't have reference points for when they're playing Prokofiev. Well, what is Prokofiev? And if they're playing Bernstein, how's that different from Prokofiev? And if you're playing early jazz, how is that different from Miles Davis? So